Now, some dreadful, tragic news. Arsenal's unbeaten start to the season. Oh, unbelievable. We were going to be invincible. We were going to win the league. What's going on? Anyway, it's come to an end. They lost 3-1 at Old Trafford. VAR it denied Arsenal an opening goal for Gabriel Martinelli, didn't it? Now, Gunners boss Mikel Arteta was speaking after full time. This is what he made of his side's performance.
We conceded the first goal. It was an action when they contact with Bruno, and still 3 versus 3 in the back line. We don't follow our principles and we concede the goal. We do 2 against 1. And after that, it was all us. Chance after chance, dominating the game, imposing ourselves that we want to play. I said, I have time to the boys. The game is there for the taking. If we play even with more courage, we're going to win the game. And we went to 1-1, and we should have been 2 or 3-1. And in the best moment, again, we give the ball away in a dangerous area, and on top of that, we step in when we can never do that against that team, and we suffer the goal. So it's a big lesson. You want to win here, you have to do everything so right, and especially if you don't do it there, then in the opponent's goal, with the amount of chances that we created, you need to score more goals.
Okay, what a time to bring Jamie O'Hara in, former Spurs player. Hi, Jamie, you're right.
Good morning,
Jamie.
Morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm in a great mood. Seeing the Gunners fall at the first hurdle of playing a decent team. It's great, isn't it?
I knew he was going to come in with that. You've got to be more original, Jamie. Right, come on then. What did you think of the performance? What did you see at Old Trafford?
I saw a very good Arsenal side, a very decent team, and a Man United side who have all of a sudden got their bite back and their edge back a little bit. And this was a test for Arsenal. It really was. And I can throw the daggers out and give it to them, but they're still top of the league. They've won the games I expected them to win, and then they lost the game where I thought, right, let's see what Arsenal are about. But they can take away a decent performance, but Manchester United all of a sudden look good again. So it's game on. It's game on. Arsenal look vulnerable at the back still for me. Rashford getting the goals that he scored, and it's going to be interesting now. Who can keep up with Man City? Who can fight for the title, or is it a one-horse race? I don't know.
Who do you think could keep up with them from what you've seen so far? And it's early days, isn't it? But I mean, even City dropping points at the weekend. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Everyone's chasing Man City. I don't think Liverpool are title challengers this year.
Where do you think that's? I mean, that's an interesting one, really. But where do you think? Because that game against Everton, and Everton fans might even feel a few decisions in that game went against them when it could have easily gone the other way as well. Where do you think Liverpool are faltering this season?
In midfield. I mean, look, the injuries have obviously hurt them. Thiago's a big loss for them. And I don't think they've got the same edge in midfield that they've had in the past. And I think that, look, and everyone's saying it, and it's clear to see they're missing Mane. You can say whatever you want. Diaz is a replacement, but he's never gonna get the numbers that Mane got. And Mane was probably Liverpool's best player. Salah would be the goal scorer. He would do something out of the ordinary, Ali, and he would get that goal and you go, oh wow, what a player. But over the 90 minutes, you watch Mane's contribution to the team on and off the ball. He was just amazing, and he brought a lot out of actually the other players around him. And I just think he's a huge loss for them. They lost their best player.
I don't disagree with you, Jamie. I look at Liverpool just now, definitely missing Mane. There's no doubt about it. Van Dijk, for the first time, is having a little bit of a dip in form. I think that's safe to say. Even going back to the opening day of the season, I keep going on about it. Mitrovic was the first centre forward I've actually seen. Wouldn't go as far to say to bully him, but certainly physically put himself up against him. And Van Dijk looked as though he was coming off second best in that one. I look at the midfield, by the way. Harvey Elliott, who's playing heck of a well, I really like. Fabinho and Carvalho. I'm not sure that's a league winning midfield, mate.
Well, it's not. It's not, is it? I mean, look, Harvey Elliott is a fantastic young player, a brilliant young player, but he's a player that should be being used in certain games, not relying on him to produce the goods week in, week out when you're trying to keep up with Manchester City. They got Kevin De Bruyne playing in midfield.
Yep.
What did you think of the challenge, Van Dijk's challenge on an Onana?
It's a red.
It's an extra couple of
No, it's a straight red. It's a straight red. Look, we can. I'm sure we're going to talk about VAR, which I think a complete joke, and everyone knows it. And they're getting so many decisions wrong. But the Van Dijk one is, it's a red. I mean, how can you not look at that in slow motion and say he's gone over the ball, he's caught him right on the shin. You know, it's a dangerous tackle. Whether he's mistimed it or not, I don't care. It's a bad tackle. It's a red card.
What we're going to do about 8:30 is go through all of these controversial decisions that were made this weekend. So stay tuned. That'll be fun, won't it? Wow. There's shocking. A lot of decisions to get through.
Embarrassing.
Can we talk about Marcus Rashford? A couple of games ago when they were playing against Liverpool, I remember saying on the show that I was so impressed, and glimpses of the player that he has been. He does look like he's got much more confident and just much sharper. It's
great to see. It's absolutely great to see.
And we were discussing earlier on, Jamie, whether or not he can get that place back in that England side, and whether or not they're taking him to Qatar.
Well, that's an interesting debate, actually, because you look at the players that are playing well at the minute. I mean, Ivan Toney's got to be in with a shout of a call up because he's playing well. You know, and the hat trick that he scored. But if Rashford keeps playing well, I mean, I've always liked Rashford. And, you know, I think it gives you something that England have not had for a long time, which is pace and directness. And when he's confident, you're seeing now all of a sudden he's frightening. And he's a good player to have in your team. I mean, the runs he makes him behind centre-half.
What about the pass? What about the pass?
The pass is sensational. It really is, It's a great pass. Something that Ali could never do. But
never. Never. No, I don't mind telling you, never.
But it was a great ball. And look, if he keeps playing the way he's playing and Manchester United are competing and they're up there, then yes, he will be back in the England squad, and I'd like to see it.
Yeah. Question: if Ivan Toney was playing for a different team, he scored 5 goals so far this season in 6 games, which is some return. If he was playing for a team in the top 6, do you think he would be on that plane already?
I'm not sure he'd be on the plane already, but he's certainly being better quoted. I don't think there's any doubt about that. His hat-trick at the weekend was fantastic. He's really, really confident in taking penalties. You've got to say that. He looks as though he's never going to miss, which is a dangerous thing to say. However, his next 2 goals after that, the free kick was out of this world, and the composure for the hat-trick goal, Jamie, man.
Yeah, it's a great hat-trick. It really is. But does it matter who you're playing for now?
I hope not, but
I feel like that's gone out of fashion. That, you know, playing for the big 6.
Some people might disagree with you, Joe. I might disagree with you.
I think the Premier League now is so good, and there's so many decent sides, and it's so good to watch. And you know, Tony's doing it against top sides. He's doing it against the big 6. So it's not like he can't do it. You know, if anything, he probably deserves more of a chance because he's doing it at Brentford, and that's no disrespect to them, but he's doing it in a team who realistically shouldn't be on the levels of Arsenal's and Man United's, but you know, they're doing it against them sides, and he's doing it.
There's not many players though outside those big top clubs really that are involved in that setup. Pickford obviously for Everton is an exception, and perhaps Declan Rice in terms of teams that are outside the supposed top 6, etc. But listen, whatever.
Tyrone Mings,
he's not in it anymore, is he?
Well, is Mings going to come back into the running? Well, obviously, big question mark over Harry Maguire.
Well, what did you think of Harry Maguire when he came on yesterday? Because he got bit pretty quickly, and in comparison, I'm not saying that necessarily we drop Harry Maguire and bring Mings in, but Mings got a lot of criticism, was dropped at the beginning part of the season. Thought he had a brilliant display against Erling Haaland this weekend, which we haven't seen from many defenders so far.
He did play well against Haaland, to be fair. And look, it's all to play for, right? We're talking about the World Cup, which is going to come round really quick. All these players need to start performing. Maguire is trusted in the England setup with Gareth Southgate and the way he plays. So I guarantee you he's on the plane, regardless whether he's playing or not for Man United, because Gareth Southgate trusts him. But I think for Manchester United, Harry Maguire's got to accept the fact that Varane and Martinez look good together, and they look all right. And I think, you know, them are now going to start forming a partnership, and he's going to be a bit part player. And I think the issue he's got is had a lot of pressure and a lot of scrutiny on his shoulders, and sometimes coming out of the side can actually do you a favour. You can get your head down, you can play in certain matches and get your confidence back. And if Man United are winning and then he filters back into the team, then that's good for England. But regardless of how he plays, he will be on the plane.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.